Yo, what's up, everybody? I am Carlton.
And I'm Bird.
And it's TV time, it's TV time, it's TV
Deep
time,
dive.
it's TV time, it's TV time, it's TV
Deep
time.
dive. Deep dive. Deep dive. Deep dive.
All right, and today we are talking about one of my favorite sitcoms, absolutely on the top 5 list of sitcoms, best sitcoms in the whole wide world. Moesha. Mo to the, E to the, Mo to the, E to the.
It definitely had the better theme song. You definitely had that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up though, because I have my gripes.
Oh Lord, oh God, can we start off with something positive, please, Jesus?
I mean, we can start off with something positive. I mean, you already did. You said that this was your favorite top 5, and I said,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, one of my it's one of my favorite top. It's on my top. It's on my top 5 list. It's for sure. I love Moesha. I could watch that show over and over again, for sure. But definitely the later seasons though. The later seasons are top tier. But overall, I enjoy. It's a series that I definitely have on my queue to watch over and over again. So yeah, well, for people who do know me, they know that Brandy is actually one of my favorite entertainers of all time. Anyway, one of my favorite actresses, one of my favorite singers. So it's just in brand for Moesha to be up in there too.
Right. True.
So yeah. So So honestly though, a lot of people don't know about this, but I feel like they should know about this. This is not Brandy's first show. Brandy's first show is actually Thea.
Okay.
And that's honestly how I found out about Brandy was because of Thea. And I was actually late to the Moesha game because I'm trying to think what channel Moesha started on. I know I didn't watch the first season when it first came out. I came in on Moesha, I think, on season 2. Either 2 or I think it was 2 because I remember watching it on Sundays before church. And it used to come on, and because Homeboys in Outer Space came on, and then they showed Baywatch. And this is right before church. So I remember it was Moesha, Homeboys in Outer Space, Baywatch, go serve the Lord.
Well, okay. Now, what I can say is that I was there. I was there like towards the beginning. I think I may have missed the first season.
Okay.
But somewhere in the middle between the first and the second is when I caught on to Moesha. So Moesha, just for a little background, Moesha has always been on UPN. It's been syndicated, I believe, on other channels as time progressed, but at the same time, it's always been their home was UPN. Because I was trying to think during that time frame when we had a slew of shows, and we had a show every night. I want to say UPN was one of them special channels at first, to where everybody didn't get that channel, and then it became part of their basic cable throughout time.
Yeah. So because I know I didn't have UPN when it first came out.
Right.
And like I said, I don't remember watching it when I first saw it. I don't remember watching it on UPN when I first saw it. So yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Because like I said, I definitely remember. I remember when we first got UPN, because we got UPN and the WB at the same time. Because I remember I was late to the Wayans Brothers. I was late to Jamie Foxx show. I was late to, because I didn't know, because Sister, I didn't know Sister had moved to WB. And I was like, because I thought Sister had got canceled.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, they moved to WB. Because I remember watching, I was like, who is Tyreek and Jordan? I was so lost. I was like, who are these people? So, yeah, I remember the day when we got WB and UPN. So, yeah, definitely for sure. But, yeah, Moesha, I don't know, man. Moesha just has a special place in my heart. I feel like I remember watching it. And I remember, especially, like I said, in the later seasons, we would watch. It would come on Monday nights, and then Tuesday morning we was talking about it at school, and I was like having those conversations. We literally was like talking. Okay, did y'all watch Moesha last night? This happened. Da, 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 da. So it's just again, it's just one of those shows you just grow up with, and it's something that you just always remember.
Yeah, it's like a staple.
Yeah.
Like in the background, yeah.
Okay, so I want to give you your time to gripe. Cause we're gonna do like a nice little sandwich. We're gonna do nice. I'll let you gripe, and then we'll go back to nice. So go ahead and say this is. Now we're here for the new segment, Birds Banter. Here you go.
Her frets, because I am fretted. Okay, now watching it as an adult and remembering the time frame and the context of the time and what we were able to do, Moesha got on my nerves. The character, like, you do the most for less, and I get like Frank was just trying to be a good dad, despite the curveball they threw in there, making him the daddy of.
We're gonna get into that.
We'll get into that. Where it just kind of crashed and burned after that, trying to be risque when y'all had enough risque. Like, it was so many instances to where Moesha was just like begging desperately for some independence and freedom and like, trust me, but you're doing a bunch of bull that makes people not trust you. And then on top of that, and maybe it's triggering for me because like I used to be crushed on a lot of hard heads growing up. So Q, as an adult, I understand why Frank was like, get away from my child. Like, what is going on? Like, what? I don't like this at all. I don't like this young man per se. Now, I wasn't big on her dating Hakeem. I mean, it was cute, but I wasn't big on her dating Hakeem. The way that Hakeem kind of like did his thing. Him and Niecy kind of had a moment, and then that became a thing. Like, it just, it was like teenage dramatics. They went into college dramatics, and then dramatics just couldn't stop dramaticing. But I can't even lie. A lot of the stuff that she went through, I went through personally. I just made different decisions to where it's just like, girl, you doing too much. And maybe it's a different crowd, but yeah, I wouldn't be gun-ho to go out here because I know what happens out here and I know what can happen to me, and I don't need that in my life. But a lot of the stuff that I did was before 13. I mean, you know, front you, maybe I was a little baby's kid, but I did a lot of stuff before 13. So now looking at it, it's just like, you're a terrible daughter.
Oh no. You're not. Well, I mean, I can't speak for your mom. I mean, because I'm not your mom. But I mean, I don't think you're terrible.
I was saying Moesha was a terrible daughter.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you. I was saying, oh, you're not terrible, Bird.
Moesha was a horrid child.
So you spoke about the drama. What I was gonna say, I was gonna throw in. It's like, but I feel like we were dramatic as teenagers. I'm not gonna speak for me. We were like, I feel like my teens, dramatic. College, my college years weren't that dramatic. I was a little bit more like, I had in my mind, okay, I'm going here, go to school, get your degree, keep it pushing. Now adulthood, listen, we're not gonna get all into that. But I'm just saying, but what I love, like I said, just even watching it as an adult, it's like it just reflected what we went through as teens. It just wasn't. We just didn't have cameras in front of us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like a lot of the things that happened, because I always see people say that Moesha had too many boyfriends, and to me, first of all, all the people that she liked were not her boyfriend. Right. First of all, second of all, weren't you like not and having a boyfriend doesn't necessarily mean, and I think because in today's society, dating means automatically sex and, you know, all the things. Like, just because somebody's dating somebody or that's their boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that they're having sexual relations. Exactly. So you cannot equate you can't say, okay, Moesha had a lot, but then weren't you liking a lot of people in high school, in middle school, high school? Weren't you? Didn't you
Like,
have a boyfriend almost every other month?
like ultimately, it's casually dating, except it's just not. It's nothing sexual.
I
You didn't
think,
even have time or the spaces to do those type of activities. And for us, like just hanging out, like the way they was able to hang out pretty much almost unsupervised at the den was great to me, because I never really got to experience just hanging out with my friends at that age, 14, 15. And then, as my generations, we got older, to have a car was a luxury.
Okay.
A lot of us did not have a car. So one of us had a car. That means that they was a designated driver to go anywhere, but we're like minors, so we can't get in anywhere. We didn't have any like den or hangout spots that was just was mainly geared towards us. And except the mall. And then you know how that go. You know how that go. So I think when you say that our teens were dramatic, I think they were, especially without social media. So like word of mouth was like really, really real, and it can get around, But mind you, I didn't understand. It's funny they say she had a lot of boyfriends. Because I didn't understand the concept of dating until I was in my early 20s. I understood it. I knew the term, but I didn't know what that looked like or entail. Up until a certain point, bruh, if we talking on the phone, we go together. It's either we were talking or we go together. It wasn't really an in between. So in hindsight, yeah, I had a bunch of boyfriends, if we're going to make it like that. Otherwise, it was just I dated. I got to know a couple of people, but that doesn't mean that I was doing anything. Like, I don't think I became like a little experience until my early 20s or whatnot. She wasn't dabbing and dipping like that. But on the outside looking in, talking about dating, holding hands. Oh, yeah, I had plenty of them.
We all did. Like I said, I think
all did. Yeah.
I think again we are living in such I don't want to use I'm saying this word. I don't want to be negative about it, but a lot of people make it negative. We live in such a woke, aware society now, quote unquote, and I'm using heavy quotations, and people want to analyze every single thing. Every single thing. So it's like, in my 2025 mind, I'm watching Moesha. Oh, Moesha was loose. Moesha had a whole bunch of boyfriends. No, y'all, she actually wasn't. Did she like a lot of people? Did she have crushes on a lot of people? Absolutely. But then we all
did.
Then we all experienced the hormones of it all. I'm just saying.
And then on top of that, they like snuck in, at least for me, when she lost her virginity, and she was very much like 18, 19, I guess, one of them. Like, they snuck that in on me.
Oh, yeah. So this is how I looked at it. I feel like she lost her virginity to Q.
You think so? I thought she lost it to Hakeem.
I think she lost it to Q because the episode on the last season when she was with Q on tour, and then they got engaged. And then I think she lost it when they got engaged. That's when I think Moesha lost her virginity.
I thought she had lost it before then.
I don't think so.
There's a time, remember when Hakeem was staying with Lamar Tate's baby?
That's the last season.
That was the last season. I thought that was the season before that.
The last season. So this is how this the order.
Okay.
This the order. So Hakeem and Moesha dated season 5. They stuck it because that's when they kept having dreams about each other. So they dated the first time in season 5. Then they broke up because Q was like, "Hey, he came back. You want to go on tour with me?" Moesha was like, "I don't know." Then Hakeem kissed Niecy, and then Moesha was like, "I'm out." And so then she went on tour with Q. So then on the last season, which is season 6, she's with Q. She gets engaged to Q, and then he was like, "I'm going to Japan." So I think she lost her virginity that night when she got engaged. And then she was engaged to Q. She kept it a secret. They broke up because Q wanted his ring back on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And
for
then
the money.
Right, for the money for the group. Then they broke up, and then Hakeem, of course, was still chasing her. And then her and Hakeem finally got back together after the concert when Mayhem performed, and Hakeem got beat up. And then that's when her and Hakeem got back together. And then they had sex because she was studying for a midterm, and she was like, "Ooh, I like your nose," and they kept talking about their body parts, and then they ended up having sex that night, and that's when Niecy and Jerome, is that his name, Jerome?
I forgot his name, but I know they were sleeping together.
Yeah, that's when they started. That's when it was revealed they were sleeping together, and so then that's all that. That's when all that happened. But yeah, they definitely. I think she lost it to Q because also too, even on that Thanksgiving episode, she kept saying, "I haven't seen Q in a long time, and we gotta reconnect or something like that." So then when Moesha came out the room, I think she was in one of his shirts. And she had to go take a shower, and then that's when when Q came to the door. Hakeem was there, and then Q and Hakeem got into a little, had a little thing. So,
okay,
yeah,
because it's been a minute.
Listen,
it's been a minute.
When I tell you I am a Moesha connoisseur, I can break down Moesha for you. I know
snuck that right on in because they didn't even let that even be a thing. Because remember, it was a time where. With certain characters, when they was talking about losing their virginity, that was an episode.
Oh yeah.
That was a whole episode that we're griping about, and are we really going to do it for them to never even go through with it? I think we're going to wait. Like, I just want somebody to be honest one good time. Let that boy clap them draws like you said you would.
Oh Jesus!
Why we can get away with it? No,
I want to go back to the statement you said about Moesha being irritated. I'm going to agree with you on that. As an adult watching it back, there are moments where Moesha is just, all right, girl, you're doing too much.
The whole most.
You're doing too much. You are doing too much. You are doing too much. But what I will disagree with, because again, people, especially when they started showing all our shows again on Netflix and different things like that, people had their little marathons and stuff. People were talking about how Moesha was a bad friend to Kim, right? I want to say all three of them are bad friends to each other. All three of them, Kim, Moesha, and Niecy, all three of them, they all used to gossip about each other. They all used to talk about it behind each other's backs. They all used to make jokes about each other to their faces and behind their backs. I think because, again, there's a sensitivity in the culture now because of Countess's weight. And she wasn't even that big on Moesha or the Parkers. I feel like because people used to make the big girl jokes and stuff like that, and again, people are more aware now. I think people are taking more Kim's side when it comes to the value of the friendship. They think, okay, well, Kim is a better friend or whatever because they used to make quips about her weight and stuff like that.
You saw nothing but social media being in real time because now people is too kitty cat wow to have roast sessions like we used to. Remember, that used to be a pastime because there was nothing really else to do. So you'll sit there and what they call roast sessions now, we had jokes. We the dozens. And it wasn't anything malicious or anything behind it. Like, because mind you, if it went down with any of us, everybody is stepping. But we had thicker skin at that time too, because that was a thing. The dozens was a thing. Child, I got jokes for days. My mama had been fat for so many times, and she's not. But my dad's been so fat. Your dad, mom jokes and dad jokes, especially in the 90s, watching And Live in Color religiously, like you. In the culture, in the community, you gonna have a dozens match every now and again. Now, I found it. I feel like they was reaching in the hat for that particular episode when they was picking on Kim low key. Because like you said before, y'all been doing the jokes back and forth for years. And it just seems to be like, I guess because she wasn't in on the phone call, it just hurt extra, a little bit extra. But I feel like low key, it's just like, this is not something that they wouldn't say outside of you, because you said ill shit too.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's my whole argument. My whole argument is when people, getting on Moesha about what she says. No, Kim used to say some crazy stuff too, and Niecy used to say some crazy stuff as well. So they're, like I said, if you want to call somebody a bad friend, I mean, they're all a bad circle of friends, honestly, if we want to go there. But that's just that. So yeah, the thing, like you said, the theme song iconic. Moesha had an iconic theme song. That's actually that's one of the things where you, like, if you have the option on the streaming services, you do not press skip intro. I listened to it the whole time. I'm gonna press it, especially
singing it,
especially that remix. When they remixed it on season 4, they said "Mo to the eat to the." I said, okay. I was like, okay, yes. It's
me. Not realizing my responsibilities. It's me. My best friend's always on my mind. You wanna be down? Come on. What I gotta do. I gotta move on.
Yes. Now I'm gonna tell you what pissed me off about the theme song though.
Uh-oh.
In the last season of Moesha,
uh-oh,
they pissed me off because they got lazy.
Uh-oh.
Let me tell you why. Because the last season of the show, Cheryl Lee Ralph was no longer a regular.
Right.
Yvette Wilson left Moesha to be on the Parkers.
Yes, did.
And so instead of doing a whole new thing, so like keep the music, but instead of doing new pictures,
they just stuck Dorian in.
No, what they did was, because Dorian was on there, because Dorian was on season 5. What happened was they left and Dale and Dee's spots vacant. They just had Brandy dancing in those spots. And I was
they had plenty of stock footage from that to fill in the gaps. And we're not going to shorten the song. Do you want us to shorten the song?
No,
we're not going to shorten the song. This song has been a song for 5 years.
This is what you're going to do. No. This is what you're going to do. This is what you should have did. First of all, you should have made Alexis Field a series regular, because she was on there. You should have upped her a series regular. Also, you should have made Lamar Tate. That's his name. Lamar. You should have made Lamar the series regular. That would have filled in the 2 gaps.
You think you're so smart. Let me tell you. You think you're you casting genius. You're conglomerate.
But again, okay, if let's just say you didn't want to do the sequence over. Again, you could have just had Alexis and Lamar, do their little part
like you did with Dorian,
and fit it in there. But I feel like they should have did it over, personally.
Yeah, like a cute little update for the last season. That would have been nice, especially with the way they left things off. Yikes!
Well, they didn't know that was going to be the last season, but I mean,
no one knew. No one knew, apparently.
Right.
Everybody's last season. This season.
Jesus.
Did you get the memo? I got it. Yeah, I got it Monday. Last week I did. I just bought that ficus. Just put it on the desk. I could have sworn. Just got this Kipka. Okay. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. So what else? Okay. Yeah. So since we're on Moesha, let's stay on Moesha. We're gonna talk about the boyfriends. Yeah. Let's break down the boyfriends. So the main ones that we know about, the main ones that were important. We're gonna start with Ohaji, because that was the first one.
Oh my God! Now I could have sworn you said you was gonna start with the main boyfriends that were important, and you could go to Ohaji.
I feel like Ohaji would come on. Rest in peace, Marlon Santana. Come on, we gotta talk about Ohaji.
Of course, but
but he was on there.
The important ones that we know as an audience is Q and Hakeem.
No, we're not going there yet. We gotta do Ohaji. You have.
So we want to go in order.
Yes.
Is what you're saying? Oh, okay.
In order. Ohaji.
Okay, that's right. Ohaji was first. Dog. My bad. Whoa. No shade. No shade.
I feel the palm trees though.
No shade. It's just when you said the important ones.
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I say he's important. Because he showed up on the 18th birthday episode. That's why.
Oh my gosh,
That's why.
We're gonna get to that.
That's why.
We're gonna get to that.
That's why. Those are the boyfriends I'm focusing on. Let
me tell you how inappropriate Moesha was, but go ahead and continue. We're gonna get to it because I have a list. If you give me 5 seconds, I bet you I could find my notebook where I was like listing out the most inappropriate mess that was on Moesha alone, that had no business being a part of said series. Like, what are y'all doing in the writer's room? But it was like the epitome of the 90s, because the 90s itself was inappropriate by definition. Haji was the first boyfriend.
He was the first boyfriend. He was technically, quote unquote, the first boy to break Moesha's heart, because she was hurt because Moesha was also dating Melinda Williams. I don't know what her character's name was.
And he was. What's that? I think she appeared on Moesha twice.
I think she appeared a couple times.
But yeah, that one character. I thought about it, and I'm ready to take you back.
Not the Cosby Show.
Was that the Cosby Show?
No,
yeah, she worked. She has worked. Anyway, yeah, he was writing poetry to her too.
Yeah, that broke. Because you know, poetry is Moesha's thing. Writing is her thing, and so like that broke that baby heart. Poor thing.
Next boyfriend.
Thing. All right, so we can move on to Q.
Q, I remember when they met, and Q was toting around this chain letter list, and she had the biggest butts. And she was very subconscious about her booty sitting up nice and right. And in the 90s, for some reason, you couldn't have no big butt. Hasn't times changed? Like, it just done turned on his head. I remember if you had a big butt in the 90s, that was like seen as a bad thing because they wanted the bubbles on the top of the girls. But now they want the butt to be big. They don't care about the chesticles anymore. They want the butt to be big now.
And people buying and dying for them too.
Buying and looking like whole ants and bumblebees outside because the butt don't match the legs and the legs don't match the ass. So we just trying to figure that out. But I just found that amazing how full circle with that episode where he was like, oh, what you was supposed to be? And he turned her around and was like, oh, you biggest butts. And I'd have been like, oh, thank you. See, I had no business because Q would have been mine. I had a big crush on Q. I had a thing for hard heads, and he was such a hard-headed young man.
So I'm going to say I'm definitely, again, because we'll get into the other boyfriends later, but I was definitely 1,000% team Moesha and Q. As problematic and as toxic as that relationship was.
I knew it.
I liked Moesha and Q, especially when they got older. I was hoping they would have made it down the aisle. I was hoping for it. Because it was better than that other alternative. And again, we're gonna get into it. Next boyfriend, Aaron, the college boo. This is when Moesha was the senior in high school, and then she dated Aaron.
I sure did. I liked Aaron.
Moesha really messed that. Moesha messed that one up. Oh no, I skipped. I'm sorry. I skipped Jeremy. We got to go get Usher. Jeremy. She dated Jeremy.
I thought Jeremy came after.
Jeremy was before. Yep, Jeremy was before Aaron. You weren't feeling that? You weren't feeling Jeremy?
I wasn't feeling Jeremy or the school.
Oh no!
School.
You know the background behind that story, right?
What was the background behind that story?
Okay, so you know how every time we have a all black show, they always try to gentrify it. So they was trying to make it more appealing to wider audiences.
Oh my God.
So that's why they moved Moesha to Bridgewood. You notice they started showing more white people, right? That's
White
why.
people and Latinos. I was like, yeah, the Puerto Ricans can come. Who is the white girl? I remember the white girl episode too.
They had several white girls. So yeah, that was the reason, because they're always trying to do that with our shows. They're trying to quote unquote broaden the audience. So
whatever, bring your ears over here. Why do we always have to cross over to y'all?
I agree. I 1000% agree with that. But we have
just get over here.
So yeah, so we have Jeremy. The episode I did enjoy with the Jeremy era was when Jeremy and Moesha went out on the date, and Q, they was at the same place with Q and Maya Campbell.
Yes, Maya Campbell was like one of my first girl crushes. The girl that like I wanted to be. Like I identified myself with Brandy a whole lot, like as an artist and everything like that. But Maya Campbell was one of them ones.
I like that episode.
Shout out to Maya Campbell. She looks great.
Oh, she looks wonderful. I'm so glad. She looks great. So good. She looks so good. I'm so happy.
In my prayers, baby.
So happy.
She looks so great.
She looks good.
Oh, all the way back like the black didn't crack. I say, yeah. My original blueprint. Yes. I wanted to be her so bad. I wanted to be her so bad. Like I wanted to be her when I grow up. I still low-key do want to be her when I grow up, because she was so phenomenally pretty and funny. Oh my gosh, like the talent house on that. So that episode, I'm like, you bringing that up, I remember her. She was like, "You are with him, and I'm with him now, and he's my boyfriend, you know. But I guess we're all out here together."
She said, "Maybe you should try closing your mouth." Oh man! No, the funny part about the episode was the person, the greeter. Every time she had the attitude, that was hilarious.
Child, listen, say what? Oh!
She said, "I take people to their seats and I seat them in the job description."
Okay. Oops, my bad. Oops, my bad. Child, they've had some great ones. Okay.
Yes.
But I did like Brandon a whole lot.
Okay, so we're going to Aaron. Now we're on
Aaron, Brandon. Because I think Brandon's his real name.
That's his real name, I think. Yeah.
Something close to that.
I think it's
Brandon Adams. Brandon Adams is coming to me. Fine. Was one of the 90s bays epitome. We saw him. He was like Baby Michael in the Moonwalker movie. For those who are Michael Jackson connoisseurs like myself, you have seen Moonwalker and you have seen the kid version of the Bad video. And yes, it's the same one. It is Brandon Adams who plays little Baby Michael in the Bad video. And I've been in love ever since. And we watched him grow up, and he's been, he played, side note, he was Ashley's little boyfriend on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for that episode when she went out on her first, was that the first date? Some semi-first date, because Tevin Campbell was really the first date.
Tevin Campbell was her first date.
Right. But yes.
Little T.
But Brandon Adams has been with us for a long time, and God and bless his soul, he stopped acting once Merlin got killed, because that was his best friend and he was with him when it happened. So I think Moesha was one of the last things that he's done. If I'm being honest, I'm gonna look it up. I think, but yes, I thought that was like cute. Like, that's real cute for you. I love this. And he's like a protector.
Moesha messed that up, though. Moesha messed that all up.
And did.
Twice. She messed it up twice.
And did.
Messed it up twice. Especially, what really pissed me off was, like, when she was, again, this goes back to the virginity thing, because she was going to lose her virginity to Aaron. They had the whole sex episode. This was the special episode that they normally do. And so
where they're mulling over it.
Right, and they talking about it and da 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 da. And then Niecy had revealed that she had sex with her fiance when she was engaged for that brief episode.
Yeah, for that military man. I remember that.
Yeah, so but Colonel Taylor's son from a different world.
Right.
So yeah, so basically she got upset because it was revealed that Aaron wasn't a virgin. So she got upset about that. And instead of just having the calm conversation and being, like
mature.
Yeah, it's just like she just got upset. Which again, I'm not saying. Okay, I'm trying to see how I can say this. It's okay. I feel like it's okay for you to be like, oh wow, you're not a virgin, okay. But I don't think it was something to really get pissed about. Now, if you wanted to take a step back after finding that out and say, hey, maybe I want to wait a minute. Okay, cool. But just the way about Moesha went about it, it was just like,
yeah, you wasn't ready and you was looking for an excuse.
You were looking for an excuse to not do it.
Look at him and tell that he wasn't no virgin, honey.
Child, he was trying to go to Big Bear.
Yep, I remember Big Bear, and I was trying to go with him, child. Let's go.
They said she said what she said he going to Big Bear, and it's not for the Grizzlies. Oh gosh. Hilarious.
I'm ready to go.
Speaking of boyfriends real quick, and also speaking of big, and we're gonna get into Frank later in a second, but just one of the biggest overly dramatic moments was when they had the sleepover. The Bridgewood students had the sleepover, and Moesha was coming down the stairs with Usher, and it looked like they had sex, but they didn't. And Frank bust through the door and was like, "Moesha, get up!" And then Moesha got upset. Then Moesha moved out the house and moved in with Andale. And then she was Andale's quote unquote roommate.
Dragged it out. That was like the cliffhanger type thing, because that drag. Now, when I said they dragged that out between seasons, she had moved out one season, and then beginning of the next season, she moving back in. They patching it up and moving it back in. But I remember rewatching this episode. This is the episode that perks up in my mind. Frank, you better be glad that he didn't grab you by them crochets that you had, because them was crochets braids. Grab you by them crochets all the way from on top of them steps, all the way down out them steps, because he already found out she was a hotel. You lied about this party. Now, it's one thing, I feel like her being of age at like 17, she was like 17, 18 at that point. I feel like
she was 17 because she turned 18. Yeah, because remember the birthday party is the 18th birthday party.
Got you. So 17, I feel like had she been a little bit more forthcoming with what that party was about, I would have still let her go. She just wouldn't have been able to do a sleepover. But you can still go. You just can't stay tonight because but of course she's not forthcoming. This is the same one who snuck off and got a tattoo.
This is the same one that snuck off and went to Tijuana.
It's the same one. So for her to get all upset and mad because he doesn't believe you, because you've been lying. You've been lying. You've exhibited yourself as a liar. Liar. This is a reason why you over here at the other school, besides the real reason of behind the scenes in the story, in the script. You're over here at this school because why? Because you keep lying. But you want to be trusted. And at 17 years old with these people, you want to be trusted and stuff like that. Like, be a little bit more forthcoming with your parents. Hell, I would have told Dee first. You already know she on your side, and she'd have figured out a way to soften the man up and got you in there. You probably would have been able to spend the night. I'm with Frank. Because what do you mean? What do you mean? And for me, it wouldn't even matter had she had sex or not. The point of the matter is that you lied. You told me one thing, and I find out it's another thing, and then I come down here and you on. What's going on? So I remember watching it as a kid and was like, ooh, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Why? And then just find the gag of it all that they was like sitting on the steps for that long period of time and whatnot. Like, it's just a lot. But they didn't even look like they had sex. They looked like y'all just sat there. Because you didn't look disheveled. Them braids was still nicely neat, tucked up in them little dang on scrunchies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bathrobe and slippers. Really wasn't nothing really going down. This was the most chill pajama party I've ever seen on television, really. But yeah, you better be glad Frank didn't make a big old scene and have you dragged out from both your scrunchies. Because y'all have been dragging you from your scrunchies. I wouldn't have said nothing. I walked all the way up there and snatched you straight out of Usher's hands. And it'll be a long time before you see him again. Do do do. Bad girl. Hey. That's equivalent to sneaking out the night. That's equivalent.
Okay, so technically this person wasn't a boyfriend, but it was a major crush, and they did go on a date. Because I want to hit this person first before we go to Hakeem.
Was it the white boy?
No. Channing, the teacher.
Let me tell you something about that.
Go ahead.
That's another episode where I watched it as an adult and wanted to scream. Like, literally wanted to climb through the screen and beat everybody's ass. The teacher, her, everybody. Because what do you mean, sir, that you're openly attracted to this minor? What do you mean? Because mind you, remember when he got there the first time, she wasn't no 18.
No, she was 17.
Very much your student.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here you come. She turns 18, and you just so happen to be in town.
Are you about to go to the birthday?
Growing up, because I'm getting triggered.
I see.
Growing up, it is like a slew of gentlemen that you need to watch, okay? Because don't put it past them. In reality, in real life, Negro, you's a pedophile. You're very much petty, file-ish. It's one thing to be like in your 30s and you're dating somebody in their 30s, 40s, and you're dating somebody in your 20s. That's one thing. That's somebody who that's legal, whether y'all like it or not. But somebody who is clearly in their teens, tweens, is giving predator. It's giving I was waiting. I peeped you. I seen you peeped me. And it was a plethora. All the girls was peeping him and crushing on him. But it's giving, yes, Target. I've been waiting on this day. And I just so happened to be in town. Woo, woo, woo. On your birthday.
I remember, and this always used to be really sick to me. I remember when, and this is off subject, but on subject. I remember when there was a countdown for Mary Kate and Ashley to turn 18. And all like these grown men was like salivating at the mouth, waiting for these girls that we've seen growing up since they were since they were babies, salivating at the mouth for them to turn 18. I remember I was in college and somebody was like, you never had a crush on American Ashley? I was like, no, no. What's that? No,
And see,
no.
I feel blessed. I feel blessed because I grew up around, like, I know those guys. We all know those guys. You know what I'm saying? We've seen them when they would come and pick up their girlfriends from high school or whatnot. They may be like 20 seconds older than their girlfriend. But then you have those that are just grown men. You know they grown. You see it, and now they move in their face that these are grown men. Meanwhile, these young ladies, they got their face beat, and they don't. The young ladies now, we didn't look like that. We didn't look. Now, I knew in high school there were girls that would beat their face back, wear heels and whatnot, but they still didn't look older than what they were. You have girls out here now who was 13 and they looking 18, 19, 20 years old. That scares me. Only because you have gentlemen out here. Because it was one girl, I was having a conversation, I remember, and she was like, these young girls out here looking grown. And I said, but you could still tell in their face that they babies. Like, the mothers or the parents that will dress their toddlers in seemingly adult like clothes and stuff like that, you can sit there and get mad at it, but you can still look at it. No matter how you dress it, it's a baby. It's a baby. But you'll have people that'll say, well, you need to watch how you dress that baby because there are grown men out there that are going to look at it and they'll lust after the baby. And I'm like, you need to. What about the grown men? So are you telling me?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
With that?
No. I disagree with that 1,000%. No, it's the adult's responsibility, the ability to control themselves and get themselves together.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's the adults. It's as the adult. It's your responsibility to do your due diligence to make sure that this person is of age. Now, I will say I don't really like the whole just the babies as adults. I don't really like that
either.
But that does not excuse these grown people for their actions.
Not even a little bit. That's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. At the end of the day, this baby, whether it's naked, got adult clothes on, got baby clothes on, I can see it's a baby. I can see it's a baby. I can see this is a teenager. This is a young lady out here who's smelling herself. Because we all did it. We all got the 15, 16, got our curves, like they getting a little set or whatnot. And we want to cut up and carry, shenanigans or whatnot. But do it responsibly, whatnot. And then at the same time, you get men who do not care. They are sitting there like the predators that they are, and they are waiting for their moment. They don't even wait until you are of age. They're just waiting for an opportunity, period.
I'm gonna tell you, like I said, I knew somebody when we were younger. This person was dating somebody that was 18 years old. I think we were like 12 or 13. And I was like, your mama okay with that? And it was just, I knew people. I used to be like, okay.
Now, see, I know in some exceptions, you meet like high school sweethearts that met in school while they were still minors and so on and so on. And they decided to be dating. That's a different thing.
That's a different, but I mean, I feel like a 5-6 year gap though, that's a little, that's a little
for this person to be, and it doesn't matter. Like I'm speaking of male and female predators.
Absolutely.
There is nothing as a grown adult that this minor can provide for me or do for me. There's nothing. That's what? That makes no sense. So this man shows up to Moesha's party looking for a child.
Let me ask you this. Because I think Channing, I'm not excusing. I just want to ask you this, your perspective. Channing, I think, was in his 20s.
Yeah, he was in his 20s.
So let's say Channing, like let's say Moesha like was flirting with him and Channing was like, nah, girl, get out. No, there was no kiss, nothing involved. There's nothing happened. Like Chandler was like, "Nah, get away from me." And then when Moesha turned 18 and they just happened to bump into each other, would that have made a difference for you, or it's still in the same ballpark? I'm talking about take away the fact that they kissed and they was low key flirting the first time. Would that make would that have made a difference for you?
That would still be in the same ballpark for me because I'm still 20 something. You still, especially now,
you still in high school.
Yeah, you still in high school, like you still a kid. Like I can go to the 21 and up club. You can't get in.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? So now I try to give grace because again, it was a different time. A lot of stuff that we side eye now because we know better now. We was doing at that time. So at that time, it wasn't necessarily a big thing. To me, it was still unethical because she was your student.
Yeah, that's like that's a big thing.
Yeah. So even if you were and then I think around that time, it was a lot of like independent projects or TV made movies that were kind of making the schoolgirl trope and of the high school girl trope of being a lustful nympho type of chick. So it was a slew of movies like it was on the tip of my tongue. HBO did one. And it was about a young girl who had a crush on her teacher and she started doing a bunch of criminal stuff to try to get with her teacher. You know, if you remember Wild Things and remember that beloved teacher, the premise of the teacher was one of the characters had a crush on him and he started to have an affair with her, but in life, but then she ran and said that he raped her and assaulted her under the premise that she tried to talk to him and he refused her. Like it was around that time. It's like 96. In 96, 97, a lot of that type of content was being made and just basically putting that schoolgirl image of this girl who is seductive, who is very mature for her age, and she got a big crush on her teacher, and the teacher is having a hard time keeping it professional. So seeing that and seeing him kind of cave into that instead of being the teacher that I needed him to be on that side and just remaining ethical, so we could see that black, you know, there is black teachers that ain't with this. But that's just my opinion. That's what it just makes it. I watch it and I cringe because it's like, because I get it. We did it. I mean, I myself had a boyfriend for like 2 seconds. We didn't do anything, of course. Just like you said, we dated, quote unquote. But I had a boyfriend that would pick me up from school, and he was 19. I was 16. You know, didn't last 20 seconds. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, those are the type of things that I think of. So with him being, it's just cringy. It's just wrong. She was your student, man. You graded her.
And gave her a low grade at that.
Yikes.
I mean, it was a horrible project though. I mean, her project sucks, but yeah, she deserved that grade. All right, last mentioned boyfriend, Hakeem.
Now, what's your beef with Hakeem? What is your beef?
The
whole dynamic.
I don't have a beef with Hakeem the character. I actually like Hakeem the character. What bothers me is we always have to do this thing where the best friends start liking each other, and it's just like, for what? Like, why can't y'all just stay friends? I don't understand. This is what I think. This is what I think happened, honestly. Behind the scenes, I feel like they ran out of. I feel like they were just like, all right, we're not bringing no more main characters up in here. We're gonna go with Lamont Bentley and let him be the boyfriend. I just don't see it.
We have to add a love interest for him. That's another check we have to divvy out.
Right.
And we have to add another love interest for Moesha. They have to like be committed to be recurring characters. and no one has the time, like as long as like the chemistry is right. Because Tyrese, you know, is on tour or doing music videos or whatever he's doing, and then Kobe, he's on, you know, he's in the NBA. So, you know, he can only be here for one episode. And so, yeah, it's just a lot. I get it.
Again, I'm not saying this is facts. I'm just saying this is my opinion. I just feel like it was like, all right, well, we already have Lamont Bentley here on contract. Let's just go ahead and put Moesha and Hakeem together. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Because why not? Yeah, it does give lazy.
It felt random to me. It just felt random. I feel like Hakeem really liked Kim. I think he liked him. Honestly, I mean, he made a couple appearances on the Parkers, and he was like trying to get with Kim at one point. It was just like I feel like he low key liked Kim.
I think they played with the idea because Kim had the thing that Kim had to crush on Hakeem for so long in the beginning, and then when she moved away from that and got these, not only was she getting these boyfriends, but she was getting these fine ones. That Chad Shepard, to me, is one of those actors that we got used to seeing, and we don't give him his flowers enough because he's freaking funny, and entertaining, and he can sing his butt off. I didn't find that out till years later, that when he was low key pushing his music, but he played one of her boyfriends and was there for a good little second. As a matter of fact, no, wait, I may have gotten him no. He may have played a couple of because he played a couple of different characters.
Yeah, he was her boyfriend. He was one of her main boyfriends on the Parkers.
On the Parkers, and then he played.
He played a character. He played a character on Moesha too, but it was a different character.
Okay.
Yeah, they like the. Listen, all those lots were on the same place, and it was like
Ray J done played 3 different characters on Moesha alone. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
3.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't doubt what anything. I think that's probably why I'm like definitely mixing them up. Mm-hmm. But I just remember that she definitely had a boy. Kim, after she got over her crush on Hakeem, had a boyfriend on Moesha.
Yeah, she did. I think
at least 2.
She did. She absolutely did. Did. And then she definitely started dating them on the Parkers.
Oh yeah. They was, I mean, duh. But yeah, we're gonna get it in on the Parkers. We is the lead. What?
But I just Hakeem and Moesha don't do it for me. Excuse me, they just don't. I like them better as friends. I just don't feel. It's either gonna be, for me. It was either gonna be Moesha and Q, and I like Aaron. I like Aaron too. But like I said, I was definitely team Moesha and Q. As toxic as that was, it was just something about that chemistry for me.
Give me Aaron. Give me the maturity. Give me you. Give me all of you, baby.
I don't think Moesha was ready for that. She thinks she's mature. She thinks she's mature, but nah.
And wasn't. And you needed somebody that was gonna challenge you, boo.
All right, let's get into this elephant in the room. The big jumping of the shark, which was Frank. We have to talk about Frank before we leave here on this episode, because let me tell you, baby, when I tell you they messed his character all up, and let me tell you the reason, and then at the cost of them messing his character up, Shirley Ralph says, I would not be a part of this anymore. But actually, that's not true. I found out because I read recently, because I thought the story was that she didn't like the storyline, mm-hmm. and she decided that she wanted to no longer be a part of the main cast. I remember watching something recently because she did an interview about Abbott Elementary School, mm-hmm. and she was talking about something, I think, going where you're appreciated and now where you're tolerated, mm-hmm. and it had something to do with Moesha. So it was I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was revealed that she actually didn't leave on her own accord.
So
I think that's what she was referring to, but I'm not 1,000% sure. I can't remember.
So I remember
I gotta find it.
It was one of these specials to where either they talked about Moesha specifically, or they were talking about Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
I remember from her lips that when she found out about where they were taking the storyline, she spoke up and tried to get them to reconsider and let them, and tried to tell them, hey, you getting ready to destroy this man. You have set up a foundation here with his character, with his family, and you throwing this in is going to, like, why would you do that to this character? He's one of the characters on here who is stand up. You know what I'm saying? Like he's come with these values of honesty and trust, and has moved in a faithfulness for so long, for you to turn around and give him this explosive secret that's as heinous. It's just,
I found it.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, Cheryl Lee Ralph was a guest on Forbes and the Know Your Values 30-50 Summit. She recently opened up about being let go from the 90s sitcom Moesha, saying her being let go was for a number of reasons, adding, "I didn't deserve that."
Mm-hmm.
So I know that she wasn't happy with the storyline because how they was changing Frank. But again, I thought originally she decided that she was leaving,
Mm-hmm.
but she said in that video that she just said she was actually let go from Moesha. But which was stupid to me because she was literally in almost every episode of the last season. She was just a special guest star. And I
right,
thought was,
but like on the phone though, and it wasn't the same.
But she was on she was in person a few times. She was like actually like in the room with them a few times. Like she came, cause I know her character. Basically her character was a consultant in Jamaica, so she was so she had a long distance marriage with Frank. But she came home a few times. She was on there, but I mean, like you said, it wasn't the same. But I just feel like it was dumb that I feel like if you're gonna let somebody go, then peace out. Let them, but it's like I feel like she was there, so you might as well just kept her as a main. That didn't make sense to me. But back to Frank. Yeah, I have to agree with Miss Shirley Ralph. I feel like they definitely, because to me, it just didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Frank was too involved in his kid's life because we didn't even talk about Miles when Miles had the whole little drug habit. So it was like Frank was too involved in his kid's life for them to write all of a sudden he was not taking care of Dorian. That made no sense. That just made no sense. You could, like you said, you could tell there was like, okay, we need to spice the show up a little bit. We need to do something to really shock the viewers. So we're gonna, instead of Dorian being the cousin, he's gonna be the long lost brother of Moesha and Miles.
Which just made stuff so stupid because Dorian, the character, was already frustrated, and I already knew that they was kind of like he was filling in for, or basically giving a new dynamic, being that Kim was getting her own show, and she was taking. Who was she taking? She was taking a vet with her. So the den's not gonna be a part of Moesha. They got to find a whole new hangout spot. You want to bring it back to the house because Moesha's not in the house, but you trying to check on Miles. Miles is not necessarily old enough for the age bracket just yet, so let's throw in her brother let's throw in the cousin so we can make sure that we could bring it back to the house and bring it back to Miles and give stuff like that. Like I feel like that was, and I'm just guessing, but I feel like that was somewhat the purpose of the dynamic was just to try to get this balance back into the areas. Because if Moesha's not in the house, Hakeem's not in the house, Frank is just Frank, D, and Miles, what are we going over here for? What are we over here for? There's no teenager in the house.
You make that's a good point. You make a lot of good points.
And their roles are still important. So how can we keep their roles prominent and their issues prominent without just turning them into a bunch of side characters that come and visit the college every now and again?
Right.
So yeah, that's
I,
my theory.
yeah, no, I think you make a lot of valid points. So I actually liked. I feel like the show would have been straight if they would have just kept Dorian the cousin.
Yeah, me too.
I think they should just kept Dorian the cousin. I think that would have been fine. It just again it started getting convoluted because the first episode when Ray J was, because again Ray J's played many characters on Moesha. When Ray J made his first appearance as Dorian, the phone call was Dorian ran away again because his father forgot about him.
Mm-hmm.
What father are we talking about? Like, because was Aunt Sandy married to somebody? Like, what father are we referring to? Because it just didn't make. This is what I feel like, Bert. I feel like we started season 5. Dorian was just going to be the cousin, and again in the middle of the season they were like, you know what, y'all, we need to funk it up a little bit. We're gonna funk it up a little bit.
We got to do something. We got to shake the table.
We got to shake the table.
Well, who said that the table needed to be shook? I mean, we got mac and cheese.
I felt the table was fine the way it was. The table was fine the way it was. I feel like, again, they should have just left him because, again, it doesn't make any sense. Frank would not abandon his kid. Am I putting it past him that he would have cheated on his wife? I'm not putting that past him. He might have made a mistake or two, but I just feel like
no, we're not abandoning. You know about
he's not going to abandon his kid, especially a kid that he knows about.
Exactly. Everybody in the family knows about this child. He just don't live with us. He comes and visits every other summer because he wanted to stay with his mama. Like, that's about as far as I can go. Like, I'm just not with it.
I wasn't with that. I wasn't with the switch. But like I said, I liked Dorian as a cousin. I feel like some of the storylines were funny. But I think it would have been better play as a cousin. But then it just started getting real crazy because then the show really started focusing on Dorian. And then we started meeting Dorian's birth mama, and then Bow Wow's his birth brother.
I'm finna say I feel like that was just a ploy to get Bow Wow on the dang show. Like, little guest starring episode. Bow Wow had just come out. He's trending. He's popping. And that was just a natural progression. Like, okay, what show is he going to guest star on? Let's do Moesha. They're already doing wild stuff over there. Let's put him over there as like a sibling to Dorian and like kind of see what happens with that. And then, of course, they did a little mix with girlfriends. Mm-hmm. And so Maya showed up.
Mm-hmm. Because Maya is their auntie.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. Yeah. Wild stuff. I definitely didn't like the turn they did with Frank. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I also low-key kind of I take a little offense when they say Frank is one of the worst fathers on TV. I don't think Frank is worse. I don't think so. I think Frank. Now, were there times where he overreacted a little bit? Yes, 1,000%.
But that's a good dad for you. He kept them things off the pipe and out of jail as much as he could.
Much as he could. He tried. He tried his best. He tried his hardest for sure. Them kids used to run him ragged, especially that Moesha.
Boy.
But then later, Dorian, I think Dorian really used to run him ragged, for sure.
You thought you had something, then Miles just fell by the wayside. Like, baby, you just too young. And every time they try to incorporate Miles in his little story time, it would get so serious. Like, calm down. We're still Nickelodeon kids over here. He should be able to go over there to that stage on Wild and Crazy Kids and have a little fun. Okay, let him have a little fun. Gosh,
all
so
right.
Serious.
So now we got to also talk about the other elephant in the room. And I will, even though Moesha is one of my top 5 sitcoms, Moesha also has one of the worst series finales in television history.
Only because they were cheated.
Like I agree, but cheated. It's still the worst. It's still one of the worst.
And what makes it even bad is that years later, over 30 years later, the writers of the show still have not revealed who was really pregnant.
Bird. I'm not. Can you tell us, please?
They still have not revealed.
Hold on. When I tell again.
And why is everybody taking pregnancy tests at once?
Let me tell you. When I tell you, in your words, the federalization of it all, when that finale came on when I was a teenager. Again, I told you we talk about Moesha the next day all the time because we didn't know it wasn't getting another season yet. We thought this was just a season finale. We just thought it was season finale,
including the cast.
So we went to school and we was like, oh my gosh, who's pregnant? We trying to figure it out. It was like is it Niecy, Moesha, Alicia, or the white roommate that they had. We was like, who is pregnant? And then somebody tried to throw in D. Somebody was like, D might be pregnant because she might. And I was like, that don't make no sense. Why would D have her pregnancy test in the college bathroom? But whatever.
So we'll call you later.
Yeah. So yeah. So we was all trying to figure out who we all had our little guesses, and we was like, who is pregnant? And then the cancellation announcement came. Moesha is not coming back for another season. But then here's the other thing about it. Miles is still kidnapped.
I was finna say Miles was kidnapped. Lil' Kim came with a shoe and said, hey, here you go. So we never got Miles back. Miles is like 30 years later, he's still a missing person. Okay. Never made it back. And then no one knows. No one knows yet. And folks is pregnant. And even though we all know it's Moesha, now we have to wonder, is it Hakeem's accused? I feel like that should have been that I feel like we were heading in that direction because it was pretty close. It was pretty close in time frames, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I don't know. But they were some overlapping. I don't know. But I feel like in my heart of hearts that the pregnant one was Moesha because why not goody two shoes? Why not? And we don't know who the baby daddy is. The gag.
Anything to bring Fredro Starr back on the screen. I would have been okay with that. I would have been okay with that storyline. I don't think it was Niecy. That was just too obvious.
Yeah.
That was too obvious. For me, I think it was either Moesha or Alicia.
I say it was Moesha because she the one with the billfold and with the title. So yeah, I say it was Moesha, and then they was gonna cut up and carry because while she's pregnant, now we're trying to find Miles, and Miles is gone in some ditch somewhere, and we have to mourn and do our memorial. You see how it just flows? Like I can't make this up. It just flows out. The story, the ending is riveting. It's still engaging.
I love it. And, from what I read, I'm not sure how true this is or not. But they, because the Parkers kept going. I think they had 2 more seasons after this. But I read that Dorian was supposed to be on the Parkers, and they were going to reveal who was pregnant on the episode of the Parkers. That's what I heard. I'm not sure how true that is.
I was going to say, did we ever go back and watch to see if? Because I don't recall.
No. That didn't happen. Like that didn't happen on the Parkers. That never happened. But I'm saying that was supposed to happen. That allegedly, from what I heard from the streets, was that Dorian was supposed to be on an episode of the Parkers, and then they were going to reveal who was pregnant on that episode. But of course, if that was going to happen, then it would have been Moesha because that's the only person that would have made sense.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it was Niecy. I think that was just too obvious. I don't think it was
too obvious, especially with everything going on. And why not? Why not? Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You done did everything else. She done got it unscathed. I feel like, yeah, that would have been a full circle thing right there. Like the one, trust me, I'm good. I'm innocent. I'm not doing anything wrong, but I'm doing everything wrong. Oop, you're pregnant.
That would be a good storyline. That would be a good storyline. Okay, so here we go. This is Ryder Carlton. Now, just like I did last time for Living Single, Ryder Carlton is going to put his hat on, and we are going to write this. Where is Moesha in them now? Right?
Ooh.
So this is what we're going to do. All right. So, because I've been thinking about this. All right. So I'm going to go the path of Moesha is the one that's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
That was pregnant. Because we're already fast forward. So this is what's gonna happen, right? So we start the start off scene. We gotta do a tribute to Lamont Bentley. So Moesha and their teenage daughter or son, they go to the cemetery and they lay flowers down at Hakeem's grave. So Hakeem has passed away.
And paid their respects.
And they paid their respects to Hakeem. We're gonna say Hakeem is the baby's father for right now. For right now.
Okay.
So boom. That's it. So of course the son or the daughter is the one that's writing in the journals now. They're all the diary, whatever. So they're writing they're writing So also to pay homage to Yvette Wilson and Dale, they reopened the den.
Okay.
And so Kim and Niecy run the den. And so of course Moesha's always wanted to be a writer, so she is writing. So she's either working on a book or she's doing some type of journalism or blogging or something like that. So her career is in writing, right? So we have that. So we're going to be positive. Miles was found, but he's in therapy. He's still in therapy. And even as an adult, grown man, he's still in therapy because he endured some things. So he's in therapy right now. So we have that. So I want to incorporate, because I like your idea. I want to incorporate your idea. So then here's the gag this is the first episode, baby. Q shows up and he says, Moesha, we need to take a pregnancy test not pregnancy. We need to take a paternity test because I think that's my baby. That's my child. That 15, 16-year-old is my child. And we end the first episode like that. Boom. And it's like, and we getting into it. Now, you notice I didn't mention Dorian. I didn't think about that far. I have no idea what Dorian is doing. Last time we saw Dorian, he was trying to do music. I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea what Dorian is doing right now. The way Ray J is operating right now and the way him and Brandy's relationship right now is, I don't think Ray J is going to be a part of this.
He's not in the group chat. He got stuff going on. He wasn't included in the group chat this time. And it's okay. It's okay. Just keep him in prayer. Keep him in prayer. And we'll see him at the cookout and go from there.
But I think that would be a good start. And also too, we can get special guest appearances from Monique, and we can get special appearances from Ken Lawson and Jenna Von Oy, because of course they're still friends. I feel like Kim is still friends with them as well.
Oh yeah.
So we can get that little mix.
Yeah.
Get that mix. You know what else I have a gripe about before we close? I don't like how Uncle Bernie disappeared.
Who?
I don't like how the last season, because on the last season that Andale was on Moesha, she was engaged to Uncle Bernie. And then when she went to the Parkers, it was like Bernie who?
He can't be here. Your contract doesn't extend over to this side. So we're gonna go ahead and just close out on good note on this side. You ran off with Andale and y'all still engaged, even though she shows up at the Parkers and you're not over there no more. Just in your mind, y'all are all the way over here and living a whole nother lifestyle. Right?
So Andale on the Parkers is a variant of Andale of Moesha.
Yes, it's a variant. It's very much Matrix. They took the blue pill. That's what I say. They took the blue pill, honey. And they having a time. So yeah, because I was getting ready to say, I meant to say earlier, Bernie Mac was brilliance.
I love him, Moesha. I love Uncle
sheer
Bernie.
Brilliance.
I love Uncle Bernie. Hilarious.
I forgot, and I remember when they first got on Netflix, and I went one by one and with binge watching the show. And when it got to the area of Bernie Mac, I forgot how funny and how much he was involved in the show and how freaking funny he was. Like, there's eras of Bernie Mac that we have lived through, and that era with the high top dollar for Daisy Earl. That's like a GOAT era. And this is the before the king of comedy, but you knew he was already a king with the crown already there. Rest in peace, good old Bernie Mac, honey.
I wasn't feeling how they just made him disappear. I ain't like
that.
I ain't like it.
Brought that up, and now that I'm thinking about it, they show did it with justice for Uncle Bernie. Justice for Uncle.
Because even when Dorian's mama showed up, where was Uncle Bernie? I feel like he would have been involved in all of this.
Definitely would have helped in. I feel like it would have been a wonderful dynamic, especially when Cheryl Lee Ralph was in Jamaica. If he'd have brought in Bernie to help in around the house and help with discipline, I felt that would have been funny. And also good for Dorian's character to have the influence of two men. You're mad at one, this other one you ain't got no reason to be mad at, but he's going to have your back and sympathize with you and, help be your voice, which I feel like Bernie Mac would have did, but been stern at the same time. And then you imagine the scenarios where him and Dorian could have been in cahoots looking for girls and stuff, like he using Dorian to pick up on these older women and their daughters and so on and so forth, and the shenanigans that would have occurred in those type of dynamics. And he's having a trouble disciplining Dorian at the same time trying to keep a heel on Uncle Bernie because he ain't no better than this child. But because he's of age, I just feel like that would have been dope. That would have been and it probably would have made two, because ultimately it was like two different shows in one show. You had whatever that was happening with Moesha on campus that had absolutely nothing to do with what was happening at home at this point, because she's grown and on college, in college. And so yeah, I feel like ultimately you would have been making a hybrid of a show where it's ultimately two shows in one.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, and I keep saying before we close, but I gotta say one more thing too. We gotta talk about CPQ. We gotta talk about CPQ. We have to talk about CPQ.
He's a player. He's a player. He's a player. I know he's a player.
Yeah. Oh, what a time. What a time.
The epitome of 90s rap, the cadence, the rhythm. Like, I fly up and cringe at the same time when I hear Hakeem rap. Because it's just like, it's so slow. Like, it has the classic 90s cadence. Like, if you want to know what the 90s sound like a mockumentary like type, listen to CP3. That's 90s like wrapped up in one. You know what I'm like CPQ. Yeah, CPQ. Mm-hmm. you know what I'm talking about. And Niecy. And Niecy.
CPQ and Niecy.
And Niecy, yeah. Yeah. Go Niecy. Go Niecy. Go Niecy. Go Niecy. Go Niecy. Y'all go put some respect on Niecy's moves. That thing was the dance. Hey.
And around we go.
And around we go. And around we go. Come on, Kim. Sing.
Yeah, I love CPQ. I love CPQ. I gotta ask you this question before we bow out of here. CPQ or Freestyle Unity?
Ooh. CPQ had the swag, but I feel like Freestyle Unity had the mass appeal. Because you can't be mama kill him, mama kill him, mama kill him, T-Bo. Kill him. Now, like I said, CPQ is for the culture. They got hits, they got bops. But Freestyle Unity, I felt, was more popping mainstream. Yes, I feel like they could cross over. They could cross over. I'm ready for a soundtrack. I'm ready for the greatest hits, honey.
You funny. You're funny.
That's I stand 10 toes down with that opinion.
I like both groups. I like both groups, and both groups had bops.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to choose,
right,
I think I'm gonna go with Freestyle Unity.
You gonna go with Freestyle Unity?
I'm gonna go with Freestyle Unity, even though I don't like T's rapping.
I couldn't tell you a cute 16 if I could try. Like I can't. I just remember he on the keys.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. But I remember he on the keys and 6 from Blossom, because that's how I know her. Jenna Oy. Yep, they can sing. They sound real good together.
Yeah. Like I said, but like you said, CPQ was definitely for the culture. CPQ was that 90s sound. For sure.
Anytime I'm talking to the youngins and they want the epitome of the 90s sound, if I can't pull out Bone Thugs and Harmony's Thuggish Ruggish Bone, I pull out CPQ. No, these weren't on the radio, but you said you wanted to hear, like a consolidated sound of the 90s. This is it. They had everything in here. Whole kitchen sink of the 90s. Look at that linoleum. Yeah, this kitchen sink.
Nice trip down memory lane.
It was.
For sure. All right, everybody. We are going to call this a done dilly.
Dilly.
Yes. This is great talking about one of my favorite sitcoms, Moesha. Thank you so much for indulging me. I'm so grateful that you took the time to relish in the greatness that is Mo to the E to the.
Going right down memory lane. Ooh, I can't wait for the next one.
Yes, absolutely. All right, y'all. That is it. Thank y'all so much. And until next time, y'all be blessed. Peace. What Pam said.
Low like that, real low. Said there's a man living in you. I know it. It's a man living in you. He's a provider.